our second pick, second overall pick in the NBA draft. Who do you think is a better fit? Brandon Miller to Charlotte or a Scoot Anderson?
Well, I think the draft starts there. That's a great question. Brandon Miller, coming in to the college season was looked at as the best prospect out of college. He reminds you of Kevin Durant with his length, with his ability to create his own offense, and with his shooting ability. Scoot Henderson, his personality, he has a motto, overly determined to dominate. That kid is a brand on his own. Everything he does, he's trying to be the best, and guys like that are always successful. It's really what is your taste? Me personally, I'll take length and shooting that can create his own. Um, at worst, Brandon Miller. At worst, you think he'll be a Paul George. At best, you'll think he'll be a Kevin Durant. That's just me personally. But I think either one are going to be really successful in the league.
I definitely believe so. I mean, for me personally, I will go with Brandon Miller for Charlotte because if you look at the Charlotte team right now, with Melo being at the one spot, it would only benefit a player like Brandon Miller because he can stretch the floor. He shoot very well from the 3-point range. He can, I mean, he shoot 38.4% from three.
Wow.
That's a very high percentage to be able to carry a team. So I would just, for me, I think that his size, I mean, he is 6'9", but he's only 200 pounds.
Right.
When you're talking about that position, yes, we can look at a Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant, that guy is so skilled that
right.
It's hard to really compare, players to Kevin Durant as far as skill set goes. So I think he has a long way to go. Do I feel like he's on his way? Sure. But he do need to put some size on. I think 200 pounds is a little light to be a small forward in the NBA.
I agree, Clive. And then you also have to look at, what happened with him off the court. And you also have to look at his performance in the NCAA tournament. So I think those are the things that allow Scoot to have a window to be, not just that, but I mean that we're splitting hairs, but I believe that he will put on size. I think, he's another one that, was, preparing to play in the NBA for a long time. I'm sure he knows, playing in the SEC, which is a physical league that, he's got to get stronger to play in the league. But man, his natural ability to shoot the ball, like what you just said, as a college freshman to shoot that high percentage, knowing that everybody is expecting you to shoot and expecting you to score. And, Alabama was one of the top teams, for the whole season, not most of, but for the whole season. I just think he's ready. And the game is going to be easier playing with a guy like LaMelo Ball in Charlotte or playing with a guy like Damian Lillard in Portland. So he can translate to anywhere with that length and with that shooting ability. Scoot, he doesn't have any problems with his size because Scoot is built so well. But I think he's going to have to improve his shooting ability. And I think he's, the NBA, as you referenced earlier, the NBA is kind of changing more to pace and space. So you can't just overlook shooting ability anymore. I mean, at the end of the day, Miami, did not have a great regular season because of their shooting. And then they had a historic playoffs because of their shooting. So you have to be able to shoot the ball now. That is a requirement now. That's not if he can just get that, you're not going to last and you're not going to be that level of player if you can't shoot the ball at a high clip anymore.
I agree. My only thing with him is his mental space, right? I do, for all the off-court stuff that he had this year to deal with, walk into an NBA arena, how would that affect him? Would that affect him? And that's my only knock on him right now. And I commend him the way he handled himself all throughout the NBA combine, to just block everything out and focus on basketball.
I agree, and I do expect it to affect him. There you can't really hide anything nowadays, with social media. So they're going to be fans that's going to be there just to heckle him, and they're going to say some really insensitive things. So he's going to have to handle it on the road. That's a great point. But he definitely handled it, during the regular season, notwithstanding his performance in the NCAA tournament, I think he can grow from what he's been through, but that's definitely something that's not going to go away, especially in his rookie season.
I do agree, and to his credit, he just still see where he plays, man. I don't. I mean, it's kind of early to tell if it's going to affect him. It didn't affect him in college too much, as we see here. So I don't think it would affect him too much at the next level. He just going to have to focus on basketball. For me, I think Scoop will be a very good player going to Portland. And I say this: he remind me of a Dwayne Wade, right? Dwayne Wade or D Rose. He's so explosive.
Yeah.
And if he can just continue to attack the basket the way the way he does, and develop the 3-point shot. I mean, he only shot 32.4% from three, which that he does have to increase that as a shooting guard. But I can say that if he works hard enough, he can definitely be that next player that Portland need to get him over the hump. And he can, pattern himself after D Wade, just how D Wade plays, approach to the game. I can say though that he's a lot stronger than actually D Wade.
Well, it's funny, Clive, that you compare him to D Wade. I and I'm sure you're talking about D Wade as a rookie, his early years. And remember, D Wade was brought in to be more of the main ball handler, and he kind of progressed to the two guard spot. I fashioned him to the early career of Russell Westbrook in Oklahoma City, and I don't think a lot of people remember how dominant Russell Westbrook was. Ironically, was against Dwayne Wade and LeBron James in the finals when he was young. I think Scoot has just the same makeup mentally as Russell Westbrook, where they are just dominant as far as their mentality. They're trying to destroy you. They have no fear. They're tireless workers. They feel like they have to succeed. Um, I think he's gonna have to really use his body and that personality on defense. I think he can help a team win early doing that, especially in Portland. And like you said, I think he knows he has to work on his shooting. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And like you said, with Derrick Rose, they're so explosive. So he's going to have to learn how to pick and choose, that explosion, especially, when he gets to the postseason. Because when you get to play the better teams and the best teams in the league, you have to beat them, strategically. You can't just beat them with talent and athleticism. And I think once he, learns the NBA.
I do agree with that. I mean, I compare him more to a D Wade because that's the way he plays. I think I think he's shooting better than Russell Westbrook at this stage of Russell. When Russell was a rookie. So I can say he's a D Wade because he played with such a dog mentality, right?
Yeah.
It's like a Ferrari, that's coming at you full force. And he can pull up, he can not only pull up on the, right on the dime, he has the same type of cuts. I mean, so before I would say he's a Westbrook, I would say he's more remind me of D Wade, um, D Rose, in that ballpark of players. So I mean, yet to be seen what from him if he can have the career these guys had. I mean, but with the NBA now, at that guard position, I think he will fit right in. And I mean, what other guard in the NBA I feel like could match up with just his strength, for the future to come. I think that he will definitely be a a a top player. He's a Hall of Famer in my book. Definitely competing for the Rookie of the Year spot.
Absolutely.
And he's going to be so hammed up to go against a guy like Victor Wembanyama just because he believed that he's the number one pick.
I agree. And I love that, we already have, film of them going at each other. And I think that's going to be, hopefully a great rivalry. They're both projected to go to Western teams. So I think it's going to be a great rivalry, hopefully, for years to come.